Business statistic is about to represent procedures of collecting, organizing, analyzing, interpreting, and presenting data into useful information. Statistic also used to draw conclusion and making decision requires reasonable mathematical and logical reasoning. The main objective of business statistic is to make inference about certain characteristic of a population in the business domain, whether the population is people, objects, or collections of information. Next, the objective of the study is to describe the data by using table, to describe the data by using graph, to describe the measure of central tendency, to describe the measure of variation and measure of position.
So my part is to explain the data arrangement. The data can be described by using a table and graph. There are three types of table that can be described the data. Okay, from the question we get the table that show the current price of bungalows for a given size in Alostar Kedah. Okay, the first step that we should doing is decide on the number of the class. Okay, the number of the class or K, we can try the 2 to the K rules, which is 2 to the power of K are greater than n. Okay, the sample or n is 29. So if we try the K equals to 4, there are lower than 29 because 2 to the power of 4 is 16. But we can try 2 to the power of 5. The answer is 32. So K is 5 because 32 is greater than 29. Okay, step 2 is determine the class interval or class width. Okay, the class width is maximum entry minus 2 minimum entry divided by number of classes. Okay, the maximum entry is 316.5 minus 250.6 divided by 5. So the answer is 13.18 and we round off to 13.5. Okay, step 3 is set the individual class limit. Okay, the class limit we can get from the size of class, which is the minimum entry is the lower limit of the class, and to find the lower limit, which is of the next class, we should add with the class width, which is 13.5, and total frequency we can get the n, which is the total frequency is 29. Okay, next is we should calculate the relative or the percentage of the data in the class. Okay, how we find the relative frequency of the class, it is the class frequency divided by sample of class, which is f over n. Okay, this is the table 2 that show the data relative frequency. Okay, from the class 250.6 until 263.1, the frequency is 9. So how we calculate the relative frequency, which is frequency over n. N is total of frequency, which is 29. So from that class, the calculation is 9 over 29 equals to 0.31. The total of the relative frequency will equal to 1. Okay, next is the cumulative frequency of the class. The cumulative frequency of the class is the sum of the frequency for the class that all previous class. Okay, table 3 show the data of the cumulative frequency. Okay, from the frequency, we can get the cumulative frequency. 9 add with 5, we can get the frequency, the cumulative frequency from the next class, which is 14. Okay, so 9 plus 5 get 14. So 14 add with the frequency the next class, which is 7, get 21, and the other step with the same step. So 21 plus 4, 25, and 25 plus 4, 29. So cumulative frequency is the sum of all the frequency, which is the last class of the cumulative frequency is actually the total number of the frequency.
Hi, my name is NURUL WAHIDAH binti MAZELAN. My metric number is H1980725. So today I'm going to present about graphical method. As we know, graphing is a common way to visually illustrate the relationship between data in the business statistics. For this assignment, we are going to present two different types of graph, which is frequency polygon and OGIF. So the first graph is frequency polygon. The graph shows 5 different types of class, which every class is 29. Same goes with OGIF. Next, we need to find the midpoint to construct the frequency polygon. Midpoint can be represented from lower boundary and upper boundary and divided by 2. Frequency refers to the portion of percentage of the data that fall into class. The next cumulative frequency for a class is the sum of the frequency of a class and all the previous classes. The cumulative frequency of the last class is equal to the sample size, which is the n. To sum up, class, midpoint, and frequency are important that assemble the graph, which are frequency polygon and OGIF. That's all from me. Thank you.
Next is measure of central tendency. The central trend is a summary statistic that represents the midpoint or typical value of the data set. Okay, in the statistic, we can find the 3 most usually steps of central trend, which is mean, median, and mode. Okay, first is mean. Mean is the refer to the average that used to derive the central tendency of the data in that question. Okay, so this is the formula, which is fx mean, fx over n. F is a frequency of class, x is mean, and n is the number of entries in samples. Okay, based on that formula, this is the solution. We expand the table because we want to create the fx table. F is a frequency time midpoint. Midpoint is from upper limit plus lower limit divided by 2. So based on the midpoint, the answer of midpoint times frequency, we can get the fx. So the total frequency should divided by n, which is 29. So The answer is 278.73. Therefore, the mean of the current price of the bungalow was approximately 278.73. Okay, next is mode. Mode is the same repeated set of data. So based on the formula, LM is a lower class boundary of model class, and different one is different between frequency of model class and frequency of the class before. Different 2 is different between frequency model class and frequency model class after model class. Okay, C is the class size. Okay, based on the equation, we should put on the set of data, so the answer is 259.48. So the highest current price of the bungalow is RM 259.45. Okay, lastly is the median. Median is a number or value which appear in the middle of the data value is take up. The median of value of the data will taken as a median of the number. So based on the formula is LM. Okay, formula that shown that. So from the calculation, we can get the answer is 278.56. So, therefore, the median class of the current price bungalow is 278.56.
My name is ZAIREEN FARYZAH binti ZAIMY. My matric number is HY9A0595. Today I will present to Madam about the assignment that I do for my group assignment, which is my part is measure of variation. So let's we go one by one and I will explain. The first one is definition for measure of variation. Measure of variation is to describe the amount of variation between random variables which range, variance and also standard deviation. Measures of variation also describe the width of a distribution and define how spread out the values are in a dataset. And it also referred as a measures of dispersion or spread. Okay. Range is the formula. This is the formula of range, which is range equal to maximum data entry minus minimum data entry. So my part is range equal 316.5 minus 250.6. The number is 65.9. Therefore, for the range is about 65.9. Okay, next is a variance. Variance is refer to a statistical measurement of the spread between numbers in a dataset. More specifically, variance measure how far each number in a set is from the mean and thus from every other number in the set. That's the definition of variance. And all of this is the calculation that I made. And I have also checked with my group mate for my part and their part. So this is the formula that I use, which is formula for group data. So this is a table. This is current price, which which is known as a class. They have 5 class. F stand for frequency, X for midpoint, X. This is midpoint, power roots of 2. This is frequency and midpoint, and this is the frequency in bracket midpoint power root of 2. So this is the calculation that I made, and this is a solution. For variance, the solution that I get is 1144.97. Okay, the last is standard deviation. This is also I get from the formula for group data. So the standard deviation defined as this is a statistic that measures the dispersion of a dataset relative to its mean. The solution is S equal to S equal to square root 1144.97. So I get it 33.84. Therefore, the sample variance is about 1144.97 and the standard deviation is 33.84 in RM 100,000. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is NURUL binti GHAZALI and my matric number is H19A0391. The part I will present is measure of position. This is about quartile. A quartile is one of the 3 points that divide a data set into 4 equal groups. The data must be ordered from smaller to largest to compute quartile as quartile, a form of order statistic. This is Q1 equal 1n divided by 4. For the solution is, for the step 1 is find the location of quarter 1 and quarter 3. Quarter 1 n divided by 4, n is 29 divided by 4, the answer is 9.75. Quarter 3, 3n divided by 4, 3n is 29 divided by 4, the answer is 21.75. For step 2 is find the value of quarter 1 and quarter 3 using the formula. Quarter 1 equal lowest quarter 1 plus n divided by 4 minus frequency divided by frequency quarter 1 times C. Quarter 1, lowest quarter 1 is 263.6 plus 975 minus 9 divided by 5 times 9. The answer for quarter 1 is 264.95. Quarter 3 equal lowest quarter 3 plus 3n divided by 4 minus frequency divided by frequency quarter 1 times C. Quarter 3, lowest quarter 3 is 290.6 plus 21.75 minus 7 divided by 5 times 9. The answer for quarter 3 is 317.15. The last step is interquartile range. Interquartile range is the difference between the first and third quartile. For quarter 3 minus quarter 1. The quarter 3 is 3 17.15 minus 264.95. The answer is 5.2. That's all. For the last part is conclusion. In conclusion, that use several methods such as data arrangement, graphical method, a measure of propensity and measure of position to calculate number group data from current price. Ringgit Malaysia thousands of bungalow for a given size square feet in Alor Kedah. As a first step to organize the data, provide we use frequency distribution to calculate the number of classes. The classes is 5. The relative frequency distribution and the cumulative frequency distribution we are also use organize data. For the graphic method, we use frequency, polygon and or GIF graph. The central tendency measure to calculate the mood is 259.45. Mean we get 278.73 and median is 278.56. For variation measure, we use distance is 65.9, variance 1144.97, and for the standard deviation we get 3384. And the last part is the quarter method is used to calculate the range between quarter is 52.2 for measure position. The distribution can be classified as symmetrical or asymmetrical based on its shape. When a vertical line can be drawn through the center of a distribution graph, the graph can reveal the mirror image. This is called a line of symmetry. When the distribution graph is equal to inclined to the left or declined to the right graph, this line is asymmetrical. The graph below show that. Thank you.